Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms coming to you live from Wilderness Lakes in Menifee for the last night on this trip. Tomorrow we move to a new location. Oh, notice the hair? The sheep got shorn today. I will tell you this, it felt 10 degrees cooler after Tasman finished with my hair today. It's been ruffled up a little bit. It looked better when she finished it, but I've kind of run my fingers through it. But it felt so much better to get all that weight off my head because it felt like I had a blanket sitting on my head for the last few days. So I was very happy to finally get my hair trimmed. It's been 2 months since I last got my hair cut, and for somebody who has short hair, there was a lot of hair on the floor. Hey, kia ora, Kathy. Thank you. I love the blue colour. And there's a very interesting story to go with that tonight. So for some reason, when I do long drives, and it's typically when I go to and from the hairdresser, because when I used to live in Solana Beach and go to my hairstylist, it was about a 40 to 50 minute drive. So you got to do a lot of thinking during that time. Today was a little longer because I was driving from Menifee down to Poe, and that was in just over an hour. And then coming back was almost 2 hours. So lots of time to think on things. And so for some reason, I always associate getting a haircut with having deep thoughts and conversations with myself in the car. I used to do a lot of what I call car convos when Brad was in hospital. Every day, morning and night, on my way to the hospital, on my way home, I would have a car convo. And I think in the 87 days he was in hospital, I recorded 127. Because I didn't start the first day. It was like about a week after he'd been in hospital, a few days before I started. And then I was doing twice a day, and they were ranging from 15 minutes to an hour and 20, depending which way I went home, what time I went home, what the traffic was like. And it was thoughts about the day. It was thoughts that I was thinking about. It was using my imagination, which I love to do, and creating scenarios of different things. But today I was listening to, and I even have the physical book here, The Power. This is by Rhonda Bryan, who is the same person who brought us The Secret. And this one talks about the power of love. And there's some interesting things that came up today. I had to go get the hard copy because I've listened to the audio a few times now. And remember I did that video a while ago that says I don't watch TV in the evenings. I'm now listening to audiobooks and while I sit and play solitaire. But today she was talking about what was she talking about? About imagination. And one of the things that she says, and I'm going to quote it out of the book, you may believe the real world is everything you can see and that everything you can't see isn't real. Okay, it's getting deeper. And yet the color you see when you look at something is in fact not its real color. Each thing absorbs all the colors that it really is and reflects the color it is not, and that's the color you see. So the sky is actually every color but blue. So my shirt here, which Kathy says that this color looks amazing on me, is everything but blue, and that's why we can see the blue. Kind of mind-bending, that one, isn't it? But she's talking about, the fact that we've lost the art, as adults we've lost the art of play. And getting out there and playing with our imaginations and things. Think of kids, not so much with take away the video games. I look at my grandson when he's down on the floor playing with cars. He's got some game going on in his head that he's moving the cars around for different reasons and going different places. And in his head they could be going from a garage to a fire station. They could be going from a house to an office. It's their imagination and things, and they're playing. And I think of, when did we as adults lose that ability to play? To get there into our imagination and create different scenarios and things. And in the book, The Power, they talk about pointing out things that you love. So like, for example, changing a negative situation into a positive situation. Nope, that shirt is definitely blue, Helen. Yeah, I agree with you, but that was just kind of mind-bending that the color that we see is the color that it's not, which was kind of cool, because then it kind of made me wonder, what about those who are colorblind that can't see reds or greens? Think about that one. Now I've lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so back to imagination. But, taking, I had a guy cut me off today, and and I went to make some comment about his driving, which of course I would be the only one that would hear, but the universe would hear it as well. And so then I started to say something, and I stopped and I went, nope, we're going to turn this into a positive thing. So I looked again at the car, and it was this really cool black BMW with low profile tires, and it was in matte black. It wasn't shiny, it was that matte black, and it looked really cool. And I thought, that is a cool looking car. So the fact that he cut me off didn't matter now. He had a cool car. So, it's changing the perception of things, because what you put out into the universe, you attract back. So by turning around and saying something like, hey, that was a really cool car, you're now admiring the car and not having that negative reaction to the situation. So it's finding the cool things in life. What is it that you like? What is it that you love? What is it that you love about somebody? Have you told them the things that you love about them? What is it that makes somebody special to you? When was the last time you told them? Going back to imagination, what is it that you want in life? It's to play a game. Your subconscious doesn't know what's real and what's not real. The words you're reading are actually not those words. Everything but. Kathy, I love your sense of humor. You have a very fast mind, woman. It's great. It's awesome. But and they talked about the thing like she told the story of Lance Armstrong and how he won the Tour de France 7 times, and what he pictured in his imagination about winning it. She talked about Arnold Schwarzenegger going from where he was in his country to being a Mr. Olympian, however many times he was, and then going on to being an actor. It all started in his imagination. What we want, we start with our imagination. So what are you putting into your mind? One thing I learned a long time ago is that the brain doesn't know the difference between don't and no and can't and cannot and those sorts of words. So if you turn around and say, I am not going to get sick, your subconscious hears, I will get sick. And therefore you end up getting sick, even though you've been telling yourself, I'm not going to get sick. So you turn that around. Instead of saying, I'm not going to get sick, you turn around and say, I am well, I have a strong immune system, which is what I tell myself every day, that I have a very strong immune system. And, and if I take supplements to help boost my immune system, then I turn around and say, these supplements are going to help boost my already amazing immune system. So it's putting those things, it's, if you're around somebody who has a cold, instead of saying, I'm not going to catch the cold, just think about your super immune system and how it is going to deflect any viruses or colds or anything that come near you. So it's all about the mindset. So this is a really, really cool book. Again, it's called The Power by Rhonda Bryan. And it was just a lot of things in there that made sense. As you're walking around, I went for a drive around the camping ground earlier. Because there was this really cool fifth wheel that came by the other day. It wasn't your typical fifth wheel. It looked like a tiny house done up as a fifth wheel, if that makes sense. So it had the house look to it, but it had the attachment that a fifth wheel has with that little piece over the tow bar area for the fifth wheel. And so I went and I found it and did a little video of it. So if I can get my connection to hold, it is holding right now, then I'll upload that video and you can, it's not a very good video of it, but it gives you an idea of this tiny house that's done up as a fifth wheel. It looked really cool going past. It's blue and it's got white trim on it, so it's every colour but blue. Well, thank you, Kathy, for doing your order. So if you want to know more about if you want to discuss stuff about that's in The Power, like if you've read the book and you want to have a discussion about it, I'm happy to talk to people about what they've picked up from the book. I love sharing ideas when people are reading the same material to see what interpretation different people have, because we all interpret things in different ways, which is what makes us unique and special. So if you would like to share your thoughts on the book The Power, then let me know and we'll set up a time to have a conversation. Just shoot me a private message. Just as a reminder, my keto coffee, had it again this morning. It was awesome. And if you want to order some of that, or I still have the Cherish products as well. I still have some of those left. If you would like a sample of those, let me know and I can send some out to you. So just private message me. Lots happening this weekend. I'm moving tomorrow to a new campground that I've never been to before. So that is going to be an interesting experience. They have me staying in the area that's called the amphitheater. So, and apparently I have to back into Not sure if I have to back down the road and into the site, or drive down and then back into the site. If I have to just back inside, that's not a problem. But if I've got to back down into the amphitheatre and then into the site, that is going to be interesting. And I am up for the challenge, and my rear view camera is going to work tomorrow. It is going to be a good little camera and do its job so that we can get there safely. I'm too confused. It is not everything, but your shirt is blue. Well, I'm glad I reminded you about the keto coffee too, Kathy. So I'm going to take my not blue shirt and go and get ready for get Sparkles ready for transfer tomorrow, so I don't have to race around like a chicken without my head on tomorrow. And then I'm going to sit down and probably read this evening. I might do some reading this evening rather than listening to an audio. We shall see. But have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we will catch you tomorrow from our new location. Until then, hei konera.